Yes, we can do it.
Okay, let's go. Let's go.
I'm going to get blindfolded here. I'm blindfolded once. I'm blindfolded twice. And I'm blindfolded a third time.
There's no mirror behind us. There's no microphones in our ears because we did not prepare this.
Yeah.
But kind of like you might have seen us doing our show. Scott, do you have any random item nearby?
Yes.
Hold it up so that I can see everyone at home. All right. And look, imagine that.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay.
Okay, why am I seeing... is this like something you can write with, maybe?
Yes.
Okay, and it smells kind of good? Is this a Sharpie?
If you're weird like I am, yes.
America.
Today we have a really special treat for you all. The Cosmic Romantics. The Cosmic Romantics have been named, quote, the Lucy and Ricky of magic, and they first came on my radar watching an episode of Penn and Teller's Fool Us, where they fooled Penn and Teller. In this episode, I talked to Elizabeth Messick and Eric Thurston about how they started their careers, how they balance a work life and a romantic relationship, Elizabeth's own journey with mental health, and we also get a sneak peek of Eric's upcoming book about magic archetypes. In this episode, we also even do some magic for each other. This was a really fun episode, and I really adore these two. So let's get into it. I bring you the Cosmic Romantics. The Cosmic Romantics! Woo! Finally got you guys on the show.
Yes.
Well, it's been a journey. It's been a journey. Right when we were about to get you on, I broke my rib. That was a mess.
Are you okay? How are you feeling?
I am all healed now. I'm all healed now, but we've been through some hurdles. But I just want to say I'm so excited to finally get you on the show. I adore both of you so much.
Aww.
We adore you now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
Eric
sir.
Thurston, you are so interesting. You came from Chicago with an improv sketch comedy background. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. I grew up in the Chicago area, and in college, all I cared about and did was improv and sketch. I mostly did not pay attention in classes. And then after college, moved to Chicago with some of my friends and spent 3 years there. I don't know exactly what I was trying to do. I guess get on SNL or something. But that, or I don't even know if that was on my radar, but it's all I was really caring about at the time.
You loved it. You were intrinsically motivated. You know, it's funny because I think a lot of people feel like a need to like justify why they do what they do. And like I've just recently taken up magic as a hobby, and I have no justification for it whatsoever other than it brings me and others joy. So, you know, I love that. I love that that's was kind of like your motivation for getting into that.
Yeah, I guess you're right. There does need to be a financial kind of reason behind it. I think I got into improv in the first place. Well, I saw a show at Second City in Chicago when I was a kid, and I thought that was amazing. And I was like, ooh, I want to do that. But also, I think it was a way to get over a little bit of like stage fright and shyness by doing improv, which should be like the scariest thing in the world. But I did it so much that it no longer was scary anymore. In fact, something I felt more comfortable doing with than, I guess, hanging out with friends, you know.
Did you have social anxiety ever in your life, or stage fright?
So yeah, I'd say I've always had some social anxiety, and then stage fright. I don't know anymore if I did. I mean, I still get a little scared performing, but probably much less than most other people.
Wait, I'm going to pivot a second to both of you. Were you both oddballs in elementary school?
Oh, yeah.
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 I sure was.
Yeah. All of my friends from, school, they're like, yeah, that makes sense. You're a magician.
I love that. Okay, so when did you get interested in magic then? Eric?
For me, well, my dad was kind of magic obsessed, so he forced it on me and my brother and my mom. We did a little family thing. But I actually got away from it because I found it to be like annoying. I got back into it maybe 7 years ago here in LA, partially because of the Magic Castle, partially because a friend of mine from Chicago was like, hey, we should do a show together. And at first I was like, no. And then I thought about it and I thought of a way to make it funny, to make us into characters. And then I was like, okay, yeah, maybe I do want to get back into magic now. Screenwriting's not really working out so well, so might as well try this again.
Oh, well, boy. And then we'll get to this fateful meeting with Elizabeth. But Elizabeth, first tell me a little bit about how long have you been interested in magic?
Ever since I was 9 years old. My brothers were born when I was about 8.5. And I just felt very lonely, especially because we would move a lot when I was a kid. So I didn't have many friends other than cousins. And so I felt really, I was also socially awkward because we were never really in one place for a long time. So I would get anxiety going to school. I would cry, before going to school because I felt like I didn't have any friends. But I always felt more myself on stage ever since I was 3 years old. So when my brothers were born, I just watched the show called The Masked Magician, which now I know is not a good show for magicians, but it did inspire me to learn magic. And it was a way for me to connect with people automatically, and so I ended up quitting magic at the age of 14 because it was not considered a girl's thing. I didn't have...
Still not really.
Yeah, I didn't have anyone to look up to. I didn't know there was a community. So I just stuck with music and dance. And then it wasn't until I was 24 when I came to the Magic Castle for the first time and I saw a couple of pictures of women magicians. I immediately got the bug again, or I guess the bug never left. It was just kind of dormant. It's called catching the magic bug or getting bitten by the bug.
Oh, yeah.
And I just started moving forward ever since then. And before that, I was doing a lot of music. I was in 10 different bands. I still have an album that's coming out from my band Golden Afternoon that I ended up putting on hold to pursue magic because I didn't have the money to produce the album and pursue magic. So that's currently dormant, but I will release the album at some point.
Well, we all hope so.
Thank you.
We're eagerly awaiting for it. So you're obviously you have this performer bone in your body. Eric does too. He's just a little more understated with the performer bone. He's like, and both of your energies together is really beautiful to behold. It's fun and beautiful to behold, as my dad and I did in Santa Monica at one of your performances. So okay, where did you guys meet?
We were both, magicians in LA, just kind of starting.
And we were both in
professional careers. Yeah.
We were both in duos, and we were both Magic Castle members. So the community, the magic community in LA is pretty small. So his duo hosted a show at a place called the Three Clubs, right?
Yeah, in Hollywood.
In Hollywood, and they had found out about my duo, and I'll let you take it from here.
Yeah, they performed at our show. It was really fun, and then soon after that, they invited us to perform at their show. We were both hosting monthly magic variety shows in LA.
Yeah, so random. And this was back in March of 2018. But I feel like both of our shows were pretty popular. So
they were, they were both really good, I think.
Yeah, we were able to pay the magicians well. Mine was at the Edison in downtown.
We didn't pay our magicians, but we did give good footage in a great house.
Yeah.
They were both successful.
Wonderful. Well, it's not like you guys got paid billions of dollars, right, to do this.
No. Well, my goal was to break even on our show. I think you guys made some money.
We made some money. At the time, I had multiple jobs, and I wanted to make sure that the magicians were also paid well. So I now know that I should have been paid more as a producer and all of this stuff, but I didn't know at the time. So I think at that time, I had like 5 jobs. But it was just a once a month thing. I wanted to make sure that we had something fun. And
so we kind of became acquainted with each other's work that way, but we were still just friends. And then it was after COVID and at the end of 2021,
He's making this story so boring. So
I just want to make sure all the facts are right.
So my
He's making it factually correct. Yes.
Look, I woke up 5 minutes ago, okay? So I'm just still kind of warming up for the day.
And I just came from psychiatry, and I have therapy later. This is a very psychologist.
We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that.
So my duo was a tiki duo. His was like a comedy duo. And it was 2020 when Eric started doing his Thurston videos. They were like thirst trap juggling videos.
I forgot this was part of the story.
Yes, and this is very important. And I ended up developing a crush on him because he was this like hot juggler guy that he thought it was funny. All these girls started coming out of the woodwork and just like messaging him on Instagram. And now you can take it from November 2021.
Oh, yeah. I reached out to her about just doing a show together at the castle. And then I think she thought it was an overture towards her. But I reached out because she was in this relationship that I thought was like steady. So I didn't think it would be weird for me asking to do a show with her.
But the relationship
then a few weeks
ending.
later, she's like, I'm single. And I'm like, okay.
Wow.
He didn't realize that I tried to break up with him in October. And then, so I already had a crush on him. And I'm like, the universe is like calling me and it's telling me to go with Eric.
Yeah.
So she expressed her feelings towards me, but I was not ready to hear that. But then a month or two later, then I came back and I was like, oh, yeah, this seems like a good fit.
Yeah. Oh, Elizabeth, you're so great. You're the type of woman that is just so great for a lot of guys who maybe definitely like Eric, but also other like more introverted guys who don't love making the first move always because they don't like to they don't want to like creep out a woman, you know. So and you're just very like you strike me as very extroverted and like assertive. So that's wonderful. Okay, so. Now you both are professional magicians. Elizabeth is on the board of trustees at the Academy of Magical Arts, or aka the Magic Castle, which we were just talking about. First of all, that's amazing. How many women have been on the board of trustees in the history of the Magic Castle? Can't be a lot.
Oh boy, I'm gonna maybe say 5 or 6, but I'm not entirely.
Low percentage.
Oh gosh. Tiny percent, maybe 3% or something like that. I don't know. I should look into those numbers, but I do know that I am the youngest, and I'm the youngest to ever be on the board of trustees historically.
Wow,
which is pretty cool. I don't know.
Very
and I'm
cool.
Millennial, yeah.
Wait, how old are you? I have no conception.
Oh, I'm 33.
Okay. Because you have this like kind of like vintage right thing. So I'm like it could be a very wide range of age.
People have no idea how old I am.
No idea. No, if you asked me guess, my range would be 20 to 65.
Oh, totally. No, I identify as a 75-year-old man and a 9-year-old girl.
I love that. I love that for you.
Thank you.
I love that for you. Okay, so that's huge. I do want to talk about psychology for a moment. Where do you bring in? You do obviously watching your show bring in psychology a lot. Now, personally, I'm obsessed with mentalism, the sub-branch of magic that combines psychology with magic. But you do it all, right? You're like a variety act. What percentage of your work do you think you bring in psychology?
I mean, I think 100%, at least for me, because I am addicted to psychology. I'm addicted to mental health. And for me, it's kind of a healing journey for me to perform magic. So it's not even necessarily for the audience, but it's more for my inner child, healing my inner child. And I think...
Wait. Like you just said something that was unbelievably funny and you didn't even realize it. You said, quote, "I'm addicted to mental health." I feel like that one sentence sums up your paradoxical personality, which I've observed.
That's hilarious.
You don't. I feel like Elizabeth doesn't go into anything half-assed. Is that a fair statement?
100% true, Scott. Yeah.
But then I feel like everything I do is half-assed because I want to do everything. So I don't know. Yeah, but you're right. It's all paradoxical. But so it's all about healing my inner child and hoping that the audience can kind of connect with that. If you're more vulnerable on stage, the audience tends to connect with you more. I don't know about Eric, though. How do you feel? Do you put any sort of psychology into the show?
Yeah, well, number one, I mean, look, there's misdirection. I feel like the scripting of everything, there's a psychology to. I think magicians are even more tuned in than other entertainers in like, how is the audience perceiving everything? And so the order of information I give them, the way I give it to them, it all has to be like so thoroughly thought out and constructed. But again, I don't think of it as psychology. I just think of it as magic. But I think it's in there.
But you're interested. You are interested in mentalism, and some things taken straight from the the history of mentalism. Some of the traditional stuff. You guys have this amazing telepathy thing that you do. Yeah.
There's the psychology of that. Yeah. Trying to pick the perfect person. Unless did you already talk about this when I was gone for 2 minutes? Trying to pick the perfect
I answered
person.
a lot of other life's greatest questions, but I didn't get to this yet.
We actually solved the meaning of existence while you were...
no time to rehash it, though, I'm afraid.
Oh, damn.
No time. Life is too short. Ba-dum-bum.
So a way I sometimes... It depends on the mood I'm into, but sometimes I'm like, I want to only pick nice people, and I'll literally go into the audience and say, are you nice or mean? Depending on my mood. But mainly, I think it's pretty easy to tell when there's a good audience member just based on their cadence, based on their smile, stuff like that. So I think it's important to be able to tell which people would want to come up on stage. And I recently took a clowning workshop to understand how to empathize with the audience more and how to get volunteers and how to have the audience immediately like you within the first second, because that's very important.
And then going back to this telepathy idea, we're doing, I think you're referring to this act, we call it Second Sight, where Elizabeth is blindfolded and I go out into the audience and we're holding up objects. Thank you. Everything in our show is kind of like fun, funny. We don't take it too seriously the way that some mentalists do, but still, I think there's a little bit of maybe the way Elizabeth might milk a moment in her interaction as she has this telepathic thought where, we're magicians. And so there's some trickery involved in this, but it's still a little bit of play acting as if it's real, as if she's reading the sound of their voice or... When
in reality, I'm actually trying to sometimes just figure out what it is. And so I need some time to think about it. So I'll act as if I'm seeing a vision, but I'm like, okay, is this correct or is this correct? And so I'll ask certain questions to kind of guide the audience member to what it is. So for example, I know it's something...
This is all very cryptic because we can't exactly say what it is that we're doing.
But an example is this. I know that it's something to do with the mouth. I know it's like a mint or a toothbrush or something like that. So I'm like, okay, you have good oral hygiene, yes? And they're like, yes. If they're either excited about it, okay, then that means I'm in the right, on the right track. But if they're like, yeah, I'm like, okay, I don't think it is something to do with their mouth, so it's little things like that, hearing the cadence of people's voices, because I'm blindfolded too.
I know, and sometimes you're fishing it, but sometimes you hit jackpot, and then you just take a risk. Don't you have to be bold in what you do? I was at one of these the events where you're like keys, and you're like, and I bet it's an Audi, and she's like, yes. And I was like, oh, I wonder what the probabilities are that she there was probably at least a 1% chance she was going to be wrong there. And she just went for it. I don't know. And you don't have to verify or just confirm that, but I feel like you have to be bold with what you do.
You do have to be very bold, and you have to know how to just roll with the punches. If you get something wrong, just move on. And I think that's that's the most important thing about magic, I think, is knowing how to just move on. It's okay.
Well, everything, not just magic.
Yeah.
It seems like
Oh, yeah.
being able to handle rejection is just so huge with whatever your field. But you guys get a chance to really overcome that in a way that a lot of humans don't get a chance to overcome that, I think.
Absolutely. And when something goes wrong in magic, it is, I would argue, worse than almost any other art form. Like a musician messing up a note or a comedian having a joke bomb. When a trick fails, it's like you failed on every level. You've revealed the trick to the audience. Maybe you failed the art of magic. It's tough, but still, it is like anything else. You still have to just be like, all right, well, that sucks, but here's another one.
So true.
Yeah. So it's important to have the things you're really, really, really confident in, the first trick and the last trick, because everything in the middle, that can be more experimental. And if you mess up, they'll forget.
Definitely. Elizabeth, you said that you're going to your therapist today, or you already came from your therapist, one of the two?
I came from my psychiatrist and I'm going to my therapist.
Gotcha. So you're loading up on help on healing, mental healing, we'll call it. So how has, to the extent to which you're comfortable talking about your own mental health struggles, of course, with everything, it's today, the extent to which you're comfortable answering my questions, but how has that journey coalesced with your magic journey, if at all? Is there any interesting connection there?
Oh, absolutely. So I'm diagnosed with ADHD, CPTSD, depression, generalized anxiety disorder, and I also believe I have dyslexia, but that's a whole other journey that I'm going on. And I think it's really important because with my ADHD, it's really, really hard to focus on one thing, which is why our show, and especially my performance, is very manic because it really depends on my mood. Like I said, how I pick an audience member, and my manager always likes watching us because my mood changes every time. And he's like, okay, you're more in like a badass mood, or like you seem pissed off, or you're really happy. And so just it's important to help with regulating my feelings because I get really overwhelmed. And so I take Wellbutrin and Zoloft, and that's helpful with my depression, anxiety, and a little bit of my ADHD. I used to wake up every morning so depressed. I mean, am I allowed to talk about like dark things on this podcast?
Oh, absolutely. We encourage it.
So, I'm such an open book, but I had really bad suicidal ideation. Like it was just pretty bad. Oh, it's 12:02. That's my lucky time. Because anyway, that means it's going to be a good day. So,
actually, yes, it's true.
Yeah. So when I started going to therapy, this was about 4 years ago when I really started on this specific journey. I had a therapist to get over an abusive ex years ago, but I stopped talking to my dad. I'm not going to get that much into it, but ever since I stopped talking to my dad and I started going to therapy, all of a sudden I felt like a weight was lifted and I was able to fly and I was able to pursue things that I wanted to pursue because I didn't have anyone to worry about except for myself. And then also in magic, or I guess in any sort of community, the more successful you become, the more haters you have. And so having to deal with the haters is like really important for me because
haters? Really?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, some people trying to sabotage either our relationship or my career. And this has happened for years. And I'm such a people pleaser that I would rather, but this is in the past, I would rather not succeed in order to make someone feel more comfortable. But now that I have been going to therapy and going to my psychiatrist, and I also have an ADHD group therapy session, it's so much more helpful that there are people I can relate to, and then cutting off people who are toxic for me and being able to say no and being able to delegate tasks to other people and ask people things. It has been so helpful for my career. like just because I'm doing what I want to do and I don't feel bad about it. And it's a beautiful, freeing feeling. And I'm trying to spread that word, which is why I'm on the board. I want to be able to be a welcoming presence to people in marginalized communities in magic, because I know how it feels to either be made fun of or to be hated on and to be backstabbed. So I feel really strong. That's my answer.
I mean, that's wonderful. And that you've been able to kind of harness it and channel it. I write a lot about the link between mental illness and creativity. In fact, that's one of the most recent posts on my Substack is the interesting linkages between the two. Do you feel like it fuels your creativity at all?
Oh, absolutely. I'm working on a solo show where I actually talk about the struggle of my mental health journey. It's beautiful. I'm not saying like, oh, I'm not tooting my own horn, but for me, it's beautiful because when I was also on an edible, so maybe that's why I was crying. But when I was just writing it, I started crying, and it was this therapeutic thing. And I'm like, I really need to do this solo show. I'm afraid to do it. But I think it's going to be helpful for it, so people can see the struggle that I've gone through. But with magic, magic can be considered an art form.
Eric, do you have any issues you wish to share?
No, I'm good.
I think he also has ADHD, but that's his own mental health journey.
I had a weird enough childhood to where I'm doing magic right now, so that's
for therapy for you.
Yeah. No, I've there was we had a period here in LA where I was seeing a therapist, and I found it to be really helpful, and I stopped. But I feel like in the time she gave me a good way of orienting how I was looking at what was going on in my life with friendships and stuff. It was very helpful. So I'm pro therapy.
Good. No, I'm really glad to hear that. How was your mental health? You guys were on Penn and Teller's Fool Us. How was your mental health tracking that whole journey, like before and after? Yeah.
Well, it's super stressful, anxiety inducing. We just went on it a second time.
No.
And we
Did I miss it? Did I miss it?
No. We just recorded it.
It'll come out in like a year.
Okay.
But it was interesting the second time through. The first time, it was such a high stress preparation process that I think we were kind of like on each other more. We were arguing more, that last one, just like over details. And this time, I think we just each let each other do our thing more. As we prepared.
We're learning each other's strengths and weaknesses and being able to let go of certain things, like delegating tasks to the other person. I'm better with like social media and marketing and stuff like that. And he's just like a classic style worker. He can just like sit down for 2 hours and just work on one thing.
I'm very into the scripting of things and the creative side of constructing the routines, especially when they're from scratch, like what we've been doing on Fool Us.
And I'll just have ideas, this and this and this and this and this.
But it's good to know when you can let go and not feel bad about it because, you're just letting the other person take the reins on something. And I think that made it a lot easier this time.
I remember after the first one, I had post-adrenaline syndrome. Have you ever had that before?
Oh, definitely. Also post-dopamine influx syndrome. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I probably also had that too. But I was depressed for days after Fool Us. I don't know, because I was just so, getting ready for it for months, and then it was done, and it was the most amazing day of my entire life. And then there was like nothing after that. It was crazy. And then
very common.
But even that was probably less this time, don't you think?
The post-adrenaline syndrome was less, and I guess getting ready for it was less. But the night before we had to go to Vegas, we found out that our rehearsal was like the next day. So we ended up leaving at 3 a.m. to get to Vegas. And the reason I'm even saying this story is because my friend was like, do you want some Adderall? And I don't take Adderall, but I'm like, I need Adderall because I need to pack everything up. We have so much to do. I should not have taken Adderall. I had a panic attack. I haven't had a panic attack in a long time. I had a panic attack. I was sweating. My face was numb. My fingertips were numb, and I could barely talk. But I know the tools that I need when I'm going through a panic attack. And so I'm like, I have my like meditation room, and I'm like, Eric, I need popsicles because it's important for me to have popsicles because of the sensation of the cold and also the taste. Having
I should try that.
Yeah, having essential oils, the different sensations. Having an ice pack on my head. I have an ergonomic chair. I have a little waterfall and fairy lights and meditation music, and all of those together calmed me down. So yeah, I feel like I'm growing because I now know how to communicate what I need in the midst of a really bad panic attack. And he's so good at like getting all the things for me.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, you guys are such complementary energies, right? Like it's like he I'm talking about him like as though he's not right in front of me. Well, he is not technically right in front of me, but you're so, Eric, you strike me very realistic, practical, and get things done. And my gosh, someone with ADD needs that desperately. So good stuff, man. Eric, tell us a little about your new book that you're working on about magic archetypes, because I'm super interested in this personally.
Oh yes, thank you. Good question. I'm really excited about it, and basically, the book is inspired by Joseph Campbell's The Hero.
Yeah. Hello, that's my
there
thing.
you go. And our friend John Booker has been gracious enough to kind of like help.
You guys know John Booker?
Yes. Do you know? He knows everyone.
Do you know John Booker?
He's my homeboy.
He's amazing.
I just hung out with him a couple weeks ago. Well, we'll have to tell him we know each other. We all know each other. Yeah.
Definitely.
Awesome.
We're overdue with seeing them.
I have a quick anecdote about John. We ran into him at Cheesecake Factory for our anniversary or something like that. And then he ended up paying for us, but he didn't tell us. They left, and the waiter ended up telling us. He's so nice.
That was very sweet.
That's called generous magic.
Oh,
yeah,
God.
yeah.
But I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. But he's awesome. Yeah, go on. Yeah, because he runs the Joseph Campbell Foundation, so that's
exactly
why this is relevant.
And he has a doctorate in mythology and expert on all things. But he's been helping me too. But the idea for the book is I'm going to break down the 13 as I have kind of defined the highest order level of categorization there, the 13 archetypes of magic. And, because a lot of magicians just randomly say, oh, I'm a close-up magician or I'm a mentalist. And they're talking about maybe the props they use or the size of the audience they do, but they should really be identifying themselves as the archetype of magic that they are. And in other words, like, why are they doing magic? And what kind of effect are they trying to have on the audience with their magic? Because I think that's a more important way to kind of organize our thoughts on it.
So what archetype would I be? I'm the amazing Dr. Scott is my magician name, and I try to unlock the potential of others through my psychology and my inspiration and motivation. What archetype would that be?
Childlike wonder, maybe.
Could be Kid Wonder. That's one of the archetypes. But I think you'd be Third Eye, which I guess would encompass what most people think of as mentalists. But basically, so I'm trying to do like a string theory thing like Joseph Campbell did. But basically, the Third Eye archetype could be sort of like a tarot reader. Like maybe you do have powers, or it could be like a Sherlock Holmes type figure or a psychologist, psychiatrist type figure. You're picking up on things that most people don't see.
I love that. And so we won't spoil the other 16. We'll have people read
other 12. 13 total.
12. I'm sorry. I don't know why I made that up. I made up a number, but the other 11.
So did I, and I made it 13.
That's cool. Why did I even say 7? Why did I think 17 total? Anyway, I really am excited for that book, actually. Really excited. Hey, look, do you guys, I know you're not prepared for this, but do you want to do a magic trick for me and I can do one for you guys? Do you want to exchange magic tricks, or you don't have to?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, should we just do some mentalism so we can have the audience see what we're talking about?
Yeah. Should we
I know I'm
try?
putting you on the spot, and
Okay. We performed for Cher a couple weeks ago, and that was literally on the spot. When we found out she was there, and I was like, I want to meet her. And then this guy's like, all right, the Cosmic Romantics are performing. I'm like, well, that's a way to meet Cher.
All we
Okay,
had
in that
on
case-
was a spool of thread, and we did like 10 minutes.
We did
anyway.
a spool. I did my spool of thread trick, and then we did mentalism, and she loved us, and she gave me a kiss on the cheek. So yes, we can do it.
Okay, let's go. Let's go.
I'm gonna
Hope this sells tickets for
blindfolded
y'all.
here.
Hope this sells tickets for y'all. Okay.
I'm blindfolded once. I'm blindfolded twice, and I'm blindfolded a third time.
There's no mirror behind us. There's no microphones in our ears because we did not prepare this like this.
Yeah.
But kind of like you might have seen us doing our show, Scott. Do you have any random item nearby?
Yes.
Hold it up so that I can see everyone at home. All right. And look, imagine that.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay.
Okay, why am I seeing? Is this like a something you can write with, maybe?
Yes.
Okay, and it smells kind of good. Is this a Sharpie?
If you're weird like I am, yes.
America.
Okay, you know what's interesting is the way you went. Yes, I'm like, okay, it's gonna be a Sharpie because I
Because, like-
actually wasn't sure.
That's a good point. Yeah, like, I mean, bless you. You're like you're not revealing your secrets, but you are giving some hints. So bless
Some
you.
methods.
Yeah, see, you're great.
Yeah. What? How
Yes.
sure were you that it was a Sharpie?
I was not sure.
Yeah.
I mean, you just took it. You went for it. You went for it. All right,
Yeah.
guys,
Now- yes. Let's do this.
pick one of these cards because people have signed a whole bunch, so I don't have the full deck here. That's why it's not the full deck. Legitimately, that's not why.
Do we
it's not.
tell you the card? Or
Yes,
do we?
yes. Tell me.
Well, let's go with that one. 6 of clubs.
The Six of Clubs. I was looking at the Six of Clubs as well.
Okay, 6 of. Okay, 6 of clubs. Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So let me just put the rest back in the box. Okay. Let me. The reason why I have the Sharpies, I want to sign your initials, E and
E and E.
E. Okay. Okay. E and E. E and E. I really didn't write it too well, but there you go. Okay.
Better than my writing.
Is this better than your really?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So let us put this in the deck. I'm gonna look away. And put it somewhere in here. Tell me if I'm all right. Tell me if it's going. Is it going in?
Yes,
going in.
it's going in.
Is it in? Is it in?
Yes. Yes.
In?
Yep.
It's in there.
Close it. Let's close the box. All right, my friends. All right. Okay. Now let's see. What would you be impressed? What would you be impressed with? What would you be impressed?
If you can find our card, I would be impressed. It's in the deck somewhere.
Okay. How about if I? Well, no, I can't. Guessing the card's not impressive because I already know what that is. Well, okay. Earlier, I was saying in the show how I have a magic addiction, right?
Yes.
And so with this magic addiction, I have to take these fucking pills every day of my life. Okay, these pills are so addictive. Now, I mean, the pills are addictive too. But once I finish the pills, I usually can just calm down and take a deep sigh, and then I can continue my magic.
No way.
I'm gonna.
No way it's signed.
I'm
Cool.
No. No.
Wait, that was awesome.
Thank you.
That's really smart. Like getting rid of the pills.
What a perfect
Wow.
Oh, there was even more. That was like a
Yeah.
bonus.
There's no way to get this out. I can't.
Wouldn't that be crazy if I'm like, wow, it's right here now.
That would be actually amazing.
Wow.
I love that. That's so you too with the
So me.
Pills and stuff.
Yeah.
Love it.
We gotta get together sometime. Just do magic for each other.
Yeah. Are you on the East Coast, or where are you based?
I'm in Santa Monica right now. Yeah, Santa Monica.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah.
We can get together.
Yes, and I go back and forth between here and New York.
Cool.
It's so funny. I accidentally got the pills in my drink when I was getting them out. So
Looks like you're gonna have a good day. Okay. You're gonna have a fun
I didn't mean to do that. I think those pills are wasted now, right? Because unless I down them, but I can't put them back in the bottle. But anyway,
So is that like a placebo pill? They kind of look like
they're placebo pills. Yes, they're definitely placebo. They're definitely placebo. There's nothing in them.
Really smart.
Look, guys, you guys are awesome. You've been described as the Lucy and Ricky of magic. And do you like that description?
Love that.
I love that.
Bobcat Goldthwait is a genius for coining that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I agree with that description. Anything else you want to talk about that's coming up? Ada Twist. Do you want to talk about that?
Oh yeah. I was on Ada Twist.
As I put my pills back in my bottle, talk to me.
Season 1, episode 4. And let's see, I was also in Marvelous in the Black Hole, and I'm about to be on a really popular kids YouTube channel.
Really?
But I'm not allowed to say what yet. And Aaron consulted for it. And because I want to do more magic for kids, not like a birthday party magician, but more like for on screen. It's super fun.
And I've consulted for the Disney Channel. Now I'll get to brag that I've consulted for the really big YouTube channel that we cannot name.
Yeah, they're we're doing it for it's a company that has like a bunch of different IPs, and we're doing 5 different IPs, and their individual IPs have millions and millions of followers. So hopefully,
but maybe there are some things we can say. We have some fun public shows coming up. We're performing at Black Rabbit Rose soon.
Oh, good.
And we're going to be back at Illusion Magic Lounge soon doing our full evening show. So like good. 2 40-minute, bringing out everything we got.
And we're wanting to perform on cruise ships. So we want to film these performances. And so we're trying to get a bunch of people to come out. So we have a good audience.
Boy. I hope that works for you. Have you never done a cruise ship before?
No, I want to because I can't afford to travel. So, might as well work.
Yeah, get paid to
travel. Get paid to do it.
Oh man, that should be so much fun. And then you can just you'll pick the most exotic locations to go to.
Yeah.
So everyone watch The Cosmic Romantics. They are great. They have inspired me. They're one of my. I'm going to forever consider you guys one of my personal inspirations.
I'm gonna give you a hug.
Hug with as I continue putting the pills back. Yeah. Your card's gone, by the way. It's back here. Just everyone watch them. I hope you guys find a mental balance between your work and your play. Although your work is your play in a lot of ways, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's one and the same.
Yeah.
So
I don't know how to take a day off.
Well, with magic, do you have to?
Right? Yeah. No.
We're doing okay, but we want more. We want to make more money and work less in the future. We wouldn't mind having a little more free time and relaxation.
Yeah.
But all things considered, we're very lucky to be doing this.
We got to get you I know you're doing all sorts of specials, but we need to get you a big TV series. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
Let's make it happen. 2025 resolutions.
Watching, contact us.
Let's manifest that.
Absolutely.
Get you guys a TV series. Thank you so much, guys, for being on the Psychology Podcast.
Yeah.
Our pleasure. Thank you for having us. It's been fun. It's been an honor.